After a hectic morning of getting everything all ready, we're off to the track. We'll pick up when we get there. So I realize I haven't given you guys a lot of context on where we're heading. We are going up to New York Safety Track, which is in Jefferson, New York, about 4 hours away from my house. For these particular events, they're in the middle of the week, so we end up going up the night before and actually camping at the track for the night, which is always a lot of fun. We do these events through AG Motorsports, which is actually run by two friends of mine, and are always a great time. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but they are really great events. If you're interested in them, check them out. They usually do a couple events a year. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun. So after we got all settled into the track and got the car unloaded, I decided to set up the Garmin Catalyst that I ended up getting. Garmin Catalyst is basically a lap timer and driving coach all in one. I'll do a little bit better to explain this later on in the video, but for now, we'll just leave it at that. With a quick check of the tire pressure out of the way, we moved to a driver's meeting and then got ready to head out on track. So going into this event, I really didn't have a set goal on how fast I wanted to attempt to run around this track. I tried to find information online of what cars similar to mine would run around here. I couldn't seem to find anything that was even close to my car, which is kind of surprising because the setup that I have is pretty similar to a lot of other Miata owners. But like I said earlier, this track isn't as popular as some of the other ones. I just couldn't find the information. If any of you guys race a Miata at this track and have a similar setup to mine, leave your lap time in the comments down below. I really want to know how good or bad I did at this particular day. One thing I did learn is between this track day and the track day you'll see on the next episode, I learned a lot, and there's definitely more in this car than I thought was possible. And that kind of brings me to another point. If you guys don't have any kind of lap timer or data logger, I would definitely recommend getting one. It really teaches you to be a better driver, teaches you to be more consistent and focus on the small things like braking later or hitting your apex properly and trailing out properly, because you'd be surprised how a bunch of little mistakes all over the track can really make up a lot of time in the long run. And that's where this Garmin Catalyst honestly helps out a lot. It breaks down the track into separate segments. It will, at the end of your session, link all these segments together and give you what your optimal lap time would be based on if you got all of the different sections of the track perfectly based on what you did previously. So something nice about these events, there's actually a bike session in between the car sessions. This gives you a little bit of downtime, go over the data, as well as watch some really fast bikes go around this track. After reviewing the data, I went back out for another session and I improved. And just like that, I was hooked on chasing a lap time. So my first session's best lap was a 154.3, and my second session was a 152.3, and it says my optimal lap is like a 152 flat. So I really want to see if I can get below that 152 or the optimal lap, because this lap timer is just basing the best lap time off of what you did previously. So there might be some sections on the track I can improve. I'd really like to hit in the 140s, but I don't think that's going to happen with this car, but we'll see. We improved again. I ran a 150.3. I really want to get into the 140s. We have 2 sessions left, and I'm going to try and break a little bit later and see if we can pick up another half of a second. We'll see. So I went out for that 4th session, I think it was, and I stiffened the dampening on the front and the rear 3 clicks, and I have to say, I don't think that was the right move. I ended up going back to 1 click stiffer in the back from where I was at, and 1 click stiffer from where I was at in the front, and we'll see if that makes an improvement, but I definitely ran slower that time. Could also be that it's hotter in the afternoon now and the track is getting hot and tires are just getting a little bit greasy, but we'll see in the next session. So a few weeks have gone by between making this video and that track day. I ended up going back out with the dampeners set back to where they were, or close to where they were at the beginning of the day, and I didn't end up running in the 140s. I know this was a superficial goal that I came up with while I was there, once I saw how quickly I could run around the track, and it really means nothing in the grand scheme of things, but I was a little disappointed nonetheless. But that's not to say we're not going to break that goal this year. We're heading back to the track in a couple of weeks, and I'll get another shot at redeeming myself and running in the 140s. At the end of the day, I believe my optimal lap time was 149.8, so I know it's possible, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can do. I also have a little bit of an experiment set up for next time, which you'll see in the next video, and I think it'll be a pretty interesting topic. I know I mentioned this before, this isn't my typical type of content, and I'm just curious with a little bit of feedback on whether or not you enjoyed this, or if you don't want to see anything like this and you want me to go back to making DIY videos only. I think at the end of the day, the motorsports content is kind of on par with what we've been doing here on the channel, and I think it's going to be a good addition to fill in between a lot of the projects that I work on a constant basis. I promise after the next car video, we're going to be going back to doing some DIY stuff that's totally different from cars, and I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. As always, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. And by the way, I'm just getting over being sick, so don't make fun of my voice.